Hi, I'm Doris LeBeau, and I'm super excited to announce a big change that has recently taken place in my life. For the last 13 years, I've been in recruiting, and although that profession was rewarding, I knew in the pit of my stomach I was meant to do something more important with my life. So, it is my hope that you'll stick around, sit back, relax, maybe grab your favorite drink, get cozy as you listen to my story for how I got here to announcing this exciting news. Over the last 7 years, I have encountered lots of health problems that led to years of chronic pain, uncertainty, and inability to work out. And because I was unable to work out, it took a toll on my physical and mental health. Not being able to exercise led me to an unhealthy relationship with food. Food changed my emotional state, and although it made me feel better in the moment, it slowly stripped away my confidence and self-esteem over time. The more stress I encountered, the more I ate. The unhappier I was, the more food I stuffed down. The more insecure I felt, the more I tried covering up with something crunchy, salty, or sweet to eat. Naturally, this coping mechanism eventually put on 40 pounds of extra weight. With this embarrassing added weight, I just wanted to stay at home and hide from the world. I didn't want to be in photos. I didn't want to wear a bathing suit, and I was uncomfortable in shorts. And I didn't want others to see how much weight I had gained or how unhealthy I had become. And as if the extra weight wasn't physically painful enough, I was filled with shame, discouragement, and worry. I was afraid that this was going to get worse over time. Now, I wasn't always this way. Growing up, I was fit and physically active. I was involved in tumbling, gymnastics, dancing, swimming, cheerleading, running, and I was in the marching band. As an adult, for the most part, I continued to be active. At one point, I was an avid long-distance runner, running 10 to 13 miles a day, 6 days a week. And if I wasn't outside running, I was at the gym 3 hours a day. I ran these long distances and I worked out as hard as I did because I just flat out absolutely loved it. Being active just felt so good, and it was so incredibly empowering. Running was an outlet for me to see my maximum potential and to learn all that I could accomplish and overcome. Therefore, running was everything to me. But my running came to a halt when it took an immense toll on my knees. Determined to overcome these challenges, I met with the best orthopedic surgeon in town, and after years of knee rehabilitation, strength training, medications, trying different orthotics, knee braces, and swapping out running shoes, I was hit with the hard news that my running days were over. And due to my knee problems, my workout and sport options were quite limited. Biking, swimming, jumping, rowing, skating, dancing, high-intensity interval training, tennis, basketball, volleyball, and other similar sports were just not options for me. So I was left with one safe exercise choice: yoga, which later on ended up causing more problems down the road, but I'll get to that later. So even though yoga didn't produce the same amount of endorphins as running gave me, I still gave yoga my all. I submerged myself in learning yoga and eventually became a certified instructor teaching it. While teaching yoga, I continued to work out at the gym as best as my knees would allow. But as the years passed, I found myself facing what felt like a new body limitation each year. Little by little, my body just kept breaking down. And as I approached 40, my hips and lower back became problematic too. I couldn't do the simplest thing like standing in place without experiencing pain. And a couple years later, my feet declined as well. My feet problems got so bad that I couldn't stand in the kitchen to cook a meal. And I couldn't even go for a simple, short walk without experiencing excruciating pain. The only way to stop my feet pain was to completely be off my feet. So I spent hours of my day sitting or reclining in a chair, and those hours turned into weeks, then turned into months, and then years. It was also heartbreaking to miss out on sightseeing opportunities with my family during vacations. And it was even more heartbreaking when they would stay behind just for me. At this point, I felt like my body had failed me from the waist down. So I decided it must be time to focus on being active from the waist up. So I bought an Oculus, a virtual reality headset, and I began exercising my upper body through various workout games. I also started taking golf lessons. But these activities only lasted a short while because it didn't take long before my shoulders, neck, and rib cage gave out on me as well. It got to a point where my body could no longer handle any physical activity. With every exercise causing me pain, my most reliable coping mechanism was taken away from me. The pain across my body became unbearable. It felt like my entire body had betrayed me. And so, with so much constant and regular pain, depression made its way in. But I struggled to accept that this was it. I didn't want this to be it. I would do anything for this not to be my new long-term norm. And I was also just petrified that it would only get worse with time. Like, what was going to happen to me as I aged? So I tried absolutely everything that I could. Over the years, I have been to 6 physical therapists, 5 chiropractors, 3 podiatrists, including my husband, 8 functional massage therapists, 3 personal trainers, 3 orthopedic surgeons, 1 neurologist, 1 rheumatologist, 1 acupuncturist, 2 nutritionists, multiple allergy tests, multiple feet surgeries, constant visits to the chiropractor to be put back together again, and many visits to the lab for blood work and ongoing MRI, X-ray, and ultrasound appointments. Many doctors later, I was diagnosed with EDS hypermobility, a genetic tissue disorder that causes joint hypermobility. In other words, I have loose joints and unstable joints that dislocate easily, causing repeat injury, pain, clicking of the joints, and other health issues that we don't need to dive into right now. So it was no wonder exercise became painful and even dangerous for me. So to lose 40 pounds of excess weight, what do you do when you can't exercise? You go on a diet, right? I participated in over 15 diets. I was also in 5 different life coaching programs. I read books on how to overcome my food addiction, and I worked with a therapist to work on my low self-esteem. Yet anytime I'd lose any weight, I'd gain it back after cracking, unable to maintain the strict diets any longer. I'd make progress just to experience setbacks. And what's worse is I would end up heavier than when I first started each diet. 1 step forward meant 2 steps back. I was hating my body. I felt like my body rejected me, and I resented myself for not being able to conquer this problem. I felt hopeless, powerless, and just not pretty enough. After years of this torment, I figured out that dieting and fighting with the voice in my head was causing me more harm than good. Instead of focusing on food, I needed to focus on what I was using food for. So I shifted gears and I took a much needed different attitude. I compiled the knowledge I encountered over the years and developed a new approach that was tailored to my specific challenges and physical limitations. The years of joining countless diet programs through an endless pit of disappointment had given me the opportunity to try to figure this out for myself. Yet I had these beckoning questions that kept coming up for me every day. How could I experience life with food freedom without having to aggressively work out, without having to go on diets, without restricting my foods or feeling guilty for eating certain foods that I really enjoyed? And how can I not feel like a complete failure, but instead feel good about myself regardless of what my body feels like, looks like, or what the number on the scale says? I was on a mission to find the answers to these questions. I began coming up with ways to accomplish this way of life that I wanted to experience. I wanted to be the driver in my life. I wanted to come and take back control. I wanted to figure out my own terms. So my terms to reach this way of life included giving up on all diets for the rest of my life. It meant no more calorie deprivation, calorie counting, points tracking, portion control, weighing my food, and abstaining from certain foods. Basically, no more unrealistic food programs to follow, and no more pills to take that could potentially unsafely alter my body's natural chemistry or hormones that could have detrimental long-term side effects. No more time-consuming meal planning. No more hardcore exercising. No more freaking out about what I was going to eat when I would travel. No more fear about the holidays. And certainly no more depriving myself of the foods and beverages I love. I couldn't find anything out there that included these terms. So I knew it was going to be up to me to find a way to make this work. After putting together the pieces of the different puzzles that I acquired over the years, I found some helpful solutions that worked for me. And as I was putting together and putting into practice these solutions, some people started to take notice. They saw me losing weight, but more importantly, they saw me happier. And they wanted to know what was the latest program or diet I was on now. When I explained that I was on my own program, which wasn't a diet, it intrigued them. They wanted to experience the same changes and happiness they saw happening in me. So one by one, some of them approached me asking to join this new program of mine. They wanted to be done with the food crazies too. Honestly, I was reluctant to have them do what I was doing because I didn't know if this would truly work in the long term. There wasn't enough time or data to show me either way. Yet they convinced me to use them as guinea pigs to see if these tools would work for them too. So I went from trying to just help myself to now I'm helping them too. And it was through this unplanned beta program that I realized how many people like myself were just sick and tired of constantly thinking about their weight, what they're eating, when they're eating it, going from one diet to the next, feeling shame, frustration, and disappointment because they just couldn't overcome this food monster. As my clients progressed through my program, they would often say to me, Doris, your program has been such a gift in my life. Thank you for allowing me to be here. When I saw that they were gaining food freedom like I was ignited to share with more people the knowledge and tools that I've acquired so I could help them too. And look, it's going to be a forever work in progress. I won't stop until I can continue to find solutions that help as many people as possible. But even still, I know I'm already onto something. The beta program is what prompted me to officially open my life coaching company, and I named it Gifted Vault for two reasons. One, my clients kept telling me my program was such a gift to them. And secondly, Vault signifies security, stability, and ultimately keeps our most precious valuables safe. The solution, the resources, and the tools are the valuables I offer in my program. And those valuables will always be safely protected and accessible whenever they're needed. When I found a way to come out on the other side of this food challenge and forever walked away from frustrating diets, Tom, my husband, said to me, honey, you got to do this full time. You could be helping so many more. So although it was risky and it comes with financial sacrifice to leave a stable career, we both knew it was well worth the risk. And we hope that that risk will at some point help hundreds of lives. So I took that leap and resigned from my career to follow my true calling to help make a more meaningful difference in people's lives. I know how defeating it can feel to find yourself repeatedly stuck with the same problem over and over again and with no real solution in sight. And I also know how important it is to have a community of people who share the same struggles and are willing to open up about their similar experiences. Vulnerability takes strength, and the connection that it gives us is priceless. And so at the Gifted Vault, we have solutions that we believe many are seeking. Those solutions are provided in my new program, One Bite at a Time. One Bite at a Time is an immersive 12-week program that helps to improve your relationship with food without dieting, excessively exercising, going on fast, counting or tracking calories and points, weighing your food, taking unsafe weight loss pills, relying on willpower, or depriving yourself of the foods and beverages you love. One Bite at a Time comes with personalized coaching and a community of others who are working towards their food freedom at the same time you are. No one is alone at the Gifted Vault. There is much power and strength when you're connected with a community that is changing alongside with you. Our lives aren't over because of our chronic illnesses. Our lives aren't a failure because we have extra weight on our bodies. And our lives certainly don't have to be interrupted with unrealistic and unpleasant diets that don't work in the long run. This painful struggle with food doesn't have to stalk you for the rest of your life. There is a way to break free from this suffering. So, if you can't work out, no problem. That's okay. It's not required here. If you're ready to forever say no to diets, then you've come to the right place. If you no longer want to rely on willpower, awesome, we've got that covered too. And if you're open to taking a deeper and vulnerable look at what's causing you to turn to food to cope with your stresses and what to do about it, then you've come to the right community. If you want to experience the freedom others are enjoying, we can help you get there. My mission is to help as many people break free from this food struggle as possible. Understanding why we are struggling is crucial to helping us discover what needs to change. Yet, one size does not fit all. Therefore, our program comes with multiple tools so you can discover which tools work best in your favor. It's a partnership at One Bite at a Time. And even though we have solutions, we work together to find which solutions are most effective for you. If my story resonates with you, even if just a little, and you also have a desire to cross over from the food crazies and to say goodbye to the ineffective dieting industry, I'd love to meet with you to see how I can be of help. I am also asking if you could please support my mission by following us on social media and letting those who you think might be struggling with this problem that we're here to help. I'll include our social media links below if you'd like to help spread the word about what we're doing. Thank you for taking the time to sit with me. After all, whenever we have the chance to vulnerably connect with each other, that is a gift in it of itself. Much love to you all. Doris LeBeau.